I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this, okay? The reason why I'm really excited about the demo is because I've actually videotaped a demo with a customer, okay? So you guys are gonna watch the video with me. And the thing that's great about this video is that when you're watching the customer, I'm gonna be stopping it, and then I'm gonna go over what's happening in the video so that you guys can get a better idea of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what we're trying to create, which is what? A sale at the end, right? So when we're going through this demo, if I stop it, you guys make sure that you pay attention to what I'm saying, but I want you guys to pay attention in detail what's happening in the video, because I have a list of notes that, I'm gonna say, okay, stop the video here, and then Dana's gonna stop the video, and I'm gonna go over stuff. And then I'm also gonna give you alerts, okay? And what that is that I want you guys to listen to the video that's gonna happen and pick up on the alerts that I'm giving you so that you guys can get those little golden nuggets, okay? Because the first thing I always tell every representative that works with me is you gotta listen to what I'm saying. Because if you fully listen to exactly what I'm saying, you will understand what's happening with what I'm doing, okay? One thing that you guys are gonna find out here is that I'm very good at two things of Cutco, okay? Assuming and suggesting, okay? If you assume that the customer wants it and then you suggest it to them, they have to have it, okay? There's a part in the video you're gonna notice, it's gonna be an alert, it's pretty funny. Watch the spatula spreader, okay? This is a perfect way of me assuming, and then what do? I suggest it after she says no, and the verdict changes. Pretty cool, okay? But the thing is that during this, this is gonna be a 53-minute video, so don't lose me, okay? Don't fall asleep. I saw some people nodding off a little bit earlier. By the way, I'm one of those nasty people that get off the stage, stand next to you while you're sleeping, and then I thump you, and I'm like, are you listening to me? Right? So be prepared for that. I will pay attention, okay? But the thing is that there's gonna be Q&A at the end, but we're not gonna do a role play, okay? The reason why we don't do a role play on the demo is because if you wanna role play the demo, it's called use the manual, right? There's no point in me telling you, let's role play the manual. You got 30 minutes. Here, you do 15 minutes, quick, make it happen. It's not gonna happen. A normal demo always takes you at least 45 minutes, right? My demos are about an hour, okay, from start to close. Now, if I'm at that customer's house for 2 hours, that's at least a $3,000 order. If I'm at the house for 3 hours or more, we're looking at $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 order, okay? The longer I'm there, the more you're spending, okay? The thing that you guys are gonna notice in the demo too is that we're not gonna get to the close now because my next talk is on closing, right? And we're gonna teach you how to close correctly that way. And when you guys notice in here, there's a lot of suggesting happening and there's a lot of things that are moving, okay? One thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is that the customer is going to be writing down things, and I want you to pay attention to how that happens so that you guys can do this in your own demos, okay? So I want you guys to be very excited about it. Cool? Are you guys excited about this? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the video up on the slide and it's gonna start, and then I'll just simply say, hey, can you stop right here? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna discuss what happens. But please, keep your ears open, and I want you guys to listen in detail things that are happening, because there's a lot of things that happen in my demo that you normally wouldn't ever do or wouldn't think about or say, okay? So get your notes out. Okay, everybody has their notes out? You got your pen ready? Did you sharpen your pen? Oh, right, you don't have to sharpen it. Okay, get ready, because it's going to be fun. So let's pull it up. Hi, how are you?
Hi, glad to meet you.
Yes, I'm Curtis,
I've
just so
heard
you know.
about you from my neighbor that told me that you sell Cutco and I should check into it because she knows I love to cook.
She does, nice. What do you like to cook?
Oh, I do anything except for desserts. My husband does the desserts, but I do meats and
Nice, so you guys do prime rib, do you guys do a lot of cookouts?
leg of lamb, we barbecue, we do everything. I do a lot of entertaining. I cook for friends that are entertaining themselves, and so, you know.
You're almost borderline a caterer.
Right. I've cooked for up to 150 people.
Oh, wow.
And I do weddings and receptions and things like that.
Oh, nice. Well, I hope that Cutco is something that we can put into your home. We find that Cutco Cutlery is one of those programs or those knives that actually allows people to enjoy themselves a lot better because of not only how our edges work, but how long they last. And the thing that's nice about Cutco too is that you will always have a representative that will take care of you from now on as well.
Yeah, my neighbor keeps telling me how she just cut her finger on her knives and stuff, so.
Yeah, they're super sharp, so you have to be very careful, okay?
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so let me go over what Cutco is, who we are, and what we're doing. That way that you can get a better judgment of what we're doing today. Now remember, like I said on the phone, you don't have to buy anything today. This is a demonstration just so that you can see what we have, and if you do like something, you can place an order with me at that time. Now,
Okay.
the big thing about Cutco Cutlery is that we are 100% made here in the United States. Okay, we do not put any foreign items in any of our knives that cut. Okay, so it's 100% made here in the United States. The big thing that we want you to know is that it lasts forever and that it's guaranteed. Okay, now this right here is our Cutco kitchen. This is what a lot of people go for. You know, they might start off with the knives now, go into the flatware, go into the cookware, get some of the gadgets, and then go from there.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
have everything.
We do, because we want you to have a complete Cutco kitchen that has everything. It's guaranteed forever, and you never have to buy any more products ever again. Okay?
Even if I break something or.
Yep, and we'll go over that in the.
Perfect. You guys like how that started? Okay. Now, the thing that's exciting about it is these are the things I want you guys to pick out right away from the very beginning. When you start your demo, always make it so the customer sits right next to you. Okay? It's very important that you guys notice that. A lot of times what we do is we have the customer sit across the table or they sit diagonal from us, and it's not like right next to each other. Because if you're right next to each other, it's called a space, right? When you're in her space, she's more comfortable, okay? Because then you start becoming a friend, and it's like a natural thing that happens. The other thing, too, is did you notice at the very beginning, I listened to everything that she had to say, right? And she said she's a cook, and that she does a lot of catering, and she does a lot of carving, and she does a lot of that kind of stuff. Her husband's the dessert guy. So obviously, if the husband's the dessert guy, I'm not going to talk about dessert with her because I already know that, right? The other thing that I have in here is, did you notice that I do an intro to what Cutco is before I even go into Cutco? Okay, it's very important that you guys do an introduction of who you are and what you're accomplishing and what you're trying to do when you're on the demo. Okay, because what it does is it gives that customer that extra value that they need right before you go into the demo, so that they have confidence in what you're going to show them is going to be something amazing, but it's also something that they're going to absolutely love. Why? Because her friend said, oh yeah, my friend talks about you all the time, right? So, the value building right away is a major key that you need to make sure that you guys are doing by doing an introduction. A lot of people asked me last night about goals, right? What do we do when we bring up goals? You don't have to bring up your goals. All you have to do is do an introduction and tell them what you're wanting to get done and accomplish, and they already know that the goal is to what? Buy something from me, right? Pretty cool? So, what we're going to do is we're going to continue the video, and what I want you guys to do is listen to exactly how I'm saying things to her and watch her facial expressions, because what she does is she gives me triggers and keys for me to say more things that will allow me to keep going, okay? So, you can start that back up.
Go over that in the guarantee.
Okay.
So if you break it, dole it, ruin it, crack it, melt it, fade it, stain it, anything happens to our product, we will replace it for free forever, okay?
Wow.
I just wanted to start off with this page so that you know that Cutco is not just knives. We have a whole other variety of things that you can buy as well.
Okay.
Okay? Now the first thing that we need to do is we need to go over who Cutco is and what we are, okay? Now Cutco has over 16 million satisfied customers here in the United States. And like I said, we are 100% made here in the United States when it comes to a kitchen knife. Okay? The other thing that's great about it is that Cutco has been around since the 1940s, and we're all handcrafted in Olean, New York. So it's upstate New York, close to Rochester and Buffalo, New York. So right in the middle, in the heartland.
Okay.
Okay? Now the thing that's nice about Cutco is that not only is it made here in the United States, it's been around since the 1940s, but the thing is that Cutco has designed a set of knives that have a lot of benefits and features to it that a lot of knife companies don't have.
Looks like
Now,
my drawer at home.
It does, doesn't it?
In there.
So the reason why we asked you, does this look familiar, is because a lot of kitchens have what we call a hodgepodge set, or they have that drawer that they call a junk drawer of knives. Now, the thing is that what we're trying to do as a company is get rid of these drawers and make it so that you have a set of knives that last you forever. That way you never ever have to buy knives again, and you never have to worry about searching through the drawer just to find some type of item that will actually cut. And if it doesn't cut, you don't have to throw it into the drawer and then find another one and then end up cutting yourself trying to find a good knife to use. Okay. Now what I wanted to do today is go over some advantages.
Perfect. Okay, so the reason why I'm stopping here, I'm not going to stop it that often. It's just important that you guys know how it starts. Okay? The reason why I'm stopping it there is that one thing that we do is we point out the hodgepodge. Okay? You need to make sure that you allow your customer to know that page. Because what happens is a lot of us reps, and y'all can shake your head, we just skip right over that, right? Because we want to get right to the point. The thing is that you have to talk about the hodgepodge sets because it's a great way for you to, what? Ask her if she owns that in her kitchen, right? And if she owns that, then that means that you know that she has junk and that she doesn't appreciate the things that she has and that she wants something better than that. Okay? One thing that you guys are going to notice too is that I repeat a lot of things over and over and over again, right? It's made in the 1940s, okay? It's guaranteed forever. It's in Olean, New York. It's this. It's made in America. It's 100% American made. It's okay to repeat yourself many, many times because we want that ingrained into their head because that's the value that they're going to base their decision on here in a little bit, okay? So pay attention to that. There's a notice alert here. Okay, because we're going to let this play for a little bit. One thing that's going to happen is we're going to go over the features of Cutco. One thing that you guys are going to notice is that you leave the sheath on the blade when you're going over the handle and the construction of the knife. The reason why this is important that you guys notice this is because we are showing them something, not selling them something. So if we leave that sheath on there, there's an intrigue. They want to know what's underneath that. They want to know what's coming next, right? So pay attention to that alert that's going to happen as well. The other thing that I have here is make sure that you go over the edge in detail. Okay? What a lot of times we just normally go, oh, it's the double D edge. It's one of those edges that Cutco is famous for. It goes straight at, it's forwards, backwards, and straight down. It's pretty cool. Let's show you the rope. No, you need to go in detail with that with the customer, what you guys will see where she's like, wow, I didn't know this. And then when you do the demo, it makes sense to her. Okay? The other thing, too, is that handle all objections with knife knowledge. Okay, write that down. Handle all objections with knife knowledge. The more knowledgeable you are about our product and other products that are out there is going to allow you to sell even more Cutco to that customer. Because if you go in the demo and they ask you a question about the knife and you're like, I don't know, that's a good question. That customer has no confidence in you at all, right? Whereas if she asks a question, which I want you to pay attention, I answer the question right away with knife knowledge, and she's like, oh, wow, right? Because she now knows that I'm the professional, so that here in a little bit when I suggest, then she'll have that. So here we go.
What I wanted to do today is go over some advantages and disadvantages of some common knives that are out there. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is wooden handles. Now, a lot of wooden handles out there are very porous. They collect bacteria, moisture, and odor. You're going to see these on some of your older brands like Chicago Cutlery and some of those older brands out there. The other thing that you're going to notice in some knives is carbon steels. Okay, now carbon steels are great because they actually stay sharp longer, but the problem with a carbon steel is they pit, they corrode, and they rust, which isn't sanitary and isn't very good to use.
And the handles get lighter colored from my dishwasher because that's what
Right, and
we
you're
have
not
for our
supposed.
steak knives.
Yeah, you're not supposed to stick wooden handles in the dishwasher.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's one of those features that is a disadvantage, but the advantage is that it has a carbon steel on it. Okay. Now the next thing that we have here is low-grade plastic handles. Now the reason why we say low-grade is not to like pick on other knife companies. It's just to simply point out that when it has low-grade plastic, it usually falls apart, it breaks apart, and the thing is that it melts really easily. Okay. And also with a stainless steel blade, some of the benefits behind stainless steel is that it doesn't pit corrode or rust. But the problem with a stainless steel is that it can go dull really quickly if it doesn't put an edge on it consistently. Okay? Now that shows you the disadvantages and advantages of these two common knives here. The next one is going to be construction of the knife. A lot of your knife companies, what they do is they do a partial tang. That's where the blade only goes through halfway through the blade rather than through the full entire blade. Okay, as you know, if it goes through the whole blade, then that means that it actually doesn't fall apart. It's more sturdy and it doesn't break on you.
You mean through the handle?
Through the handle, yeah, a full tang, which we'll show you on the Cutco knife so you can see exactly.
Okay.
The other thing too is that they use what we call brass rivets. Okay, brass rivets usually swell when it gets hot, and then it cools. When it cools, it goes down. So what it does is it causes an effect where it allows it to loosen up from the actual tang or the actual handle, because brass swells and shrinks as it gets cold and hot. So that's some of the construction things that you see there as well. Okay. Now, what I'm going to show you is some of the advantages of Cutco and the quality behind Cutco and why Cutco has been one of the top-selling brands in the world for the last 66 years. Now, the first thing that you're going to find with Cutco is the handle design. Now, our handle design is what we call a universal wedge lock handle. It's designed so that your forefinger and your thumb can lock into place. That way that it has an easy grip on it and it fits into the palm of your hand. Believe it or not, our handle is actually in the Modern Art Museum for the best handle construction out of a knife company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Now the other thing that's nice about it too is if you look at the handle, the material looks like it's plastic. But the thing is it's actually made out of a thermoresin, which is a high-end plastic, which means that you can stick it in the dishwasher, it doesn't melt, it doesn't break, it doesn't crack, it doesn't chip, it doesn't fade, it doesn't stain. Now, if any of that does happen to the handle, which we have seen it on occasion, what we do is we replace the knife for you for free, which we'll go over the guarantee here in a second. Okay. The other thing that we talked about was that full tang. Now, when you look at the knife, see how that blade goes all the way through there?
It sure does.
That's so that the knife has better balance on it. It doesn't snap and it doesn't come loose on the handle because it allows it to go. The other thing too with a partial tang, sometimes the tang will start to come out and then what it does is it digs into the palm of your hand. Do you
I had
have
that
one of those
happen.
knives?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and it's just one of those things that's irritating. So what we do is we make it so that the knife is well balanced and it's well used so it doesn't break or fall apart that way.
I noticed that it was very well balanced.
Very well balanced, yes. And we haven't showed you the edge yet because we're going to go into that here in a second. The other thing that you see right here is we have a silver nickel rivets. Okay, the reason why we use silver nickel is so that it doesn't swell or shrink, and that when we put them locked onto the handles and through the blade here, they will not pop off or they will not break off. If they do, you can send them back to the factory, but the thing that's nice is that they sit flush with the handle so that when they do get heated up in a dishwasher or in hot water, you don't ever have to worry about them popping out of the handle. And the thing that's nice is I've seen knives that have been around since the 1940s, and these rivets are still in there and they haven't fallen out. It's a pretty cool thing, okay? Now, the other feature that we're going to show you here is our high carbon stainless steel. Okay? Now, earlier we talked about the knife being carbon steel, which pits, corrodes, and rust, but it stays sharp longer because it's a harder metal. Okay? Now, we have the stainless steel so that it doesn't pit, corrode, or rust. But the thing that's nice, since we put the carbon steel with it, and we do it as a 440A, the thing is it doesn't pit, corrode, or rust, but it stays sharp for a very long time. Okay? So we do the benefits of both rather than doing advantages and disadvantages of it. We want it so it's nothing but an advantage. There's no disadvantage in it. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the thing that's nice about using a high carbon surgical stainless steel is that we can retain our edges very well. Okay, one thing that Cutco is very well known for, like your friend was saying, is that they're super sharp. But the thing is that our knives stay super sharp for a very long time because of the metal that we use. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there's some things that you need to know about Cutco. When you look at this knife here, we use this one, which is our Petite Carver. It's the same one that's featured in this picture here. That actually has an edge on there that looks like it's serrated, right? Okay, we actually at Cutco do not make serrated edges. A serrated edge has what you call a whooping effect, so see how it rips and tears? Whereas with the Cutco knife, it has 3 straight edges, so it cuts like a razor blade. It goes forwards, backwards, and straight down.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, and the thing that's nice about this
Because
edge...
it looks serrated.
It does. With a normal serrated edge, it'll last you about a year, year and a half before it goes dull. Whereas the Cutco one, the average is about 3 to 5 years before you need to get maintenance or sharpened. Some of our customers say 7 to 10, and then some of them say they've never had it sharpened in like 20, 30 years. Now, I, as a representative, recommend that you get them sharpened every 3 to 5 years because that's how often they should be sharpened, okay? Now, what I wanted to do really quickly before we go into the guarantee is show you some of the features that go with our edges. Now, the double D edge is something that is very, you know, a Cutco thing because it's one of our edges that we've had since the very beginning. Now, what I did is before I asked you to get me your favorite serrated edge knife out, okay? And the reason why I asked you for this is so that I can show you the difference between a serrated edge and a straight edge, okay? Or a
Okay.
double D edge, the 3 straight edges, okay?
Are your edges, is this double D design, is that patented?
It was patented at one time. What happened is our patent it went out, and then we no longer have the patent on it. But I
Okay.
can tell you this: that the edge that we put on our edge or on our knives is so expensive to put onto the knife that a lot of knife companies wouldn't even want to duplicate it or use that edge because then they would be losing money on it. Because Cutco, we've had this staple from the very beginning.
And I know that
so.
patents only last like 7 or 10 years, something like that, so that
Yeah.
then competitors can get in the,
Can try.
can try to get in.
But the thing that's nice about it is our competitors, they know that it's an expensive edge to put on their knives. So what I want to do really quickly is to show you the difference on it. So what we do is we use rope. Now, I get a lot of customers go, well, why are we cutting up rope? Is this like you're going to cut through a shoe, you're going to cut through a bar, and then you're going to say it slices, it dices, it minces? No. Cutco is a very high-end brand. We're not a low-end brand, so we're not going to cut through pipes and shoes and, you know, cans to show you how our edges are. The reason why we use rope is because it's fibrous, like some of your fruits and vegetables, but it's also strong and tough, just like some of your steaks are, okay? Now, the reason why we use this is so that we can show you how our edges don't rip and tear compared to a normal serrated knife. So, with this cutting board here, which we grabbed earlier from you, what we're going to do is we're going to have you try this out for me, okay? Now, this knife right here is your serrated one and your favorite one in your kitchen. So what I want you to do is hold this straight in your hand, and what I want you to do is take that knife from the back to the front, and I want you to do one motion and just drag it backwards. Okay? Now, did you see how it didn't go all the way through? Now what I want you to do is go back and forth until you get through that rope. Okay. Now it took a little bit to get through there, but it's serrated, and serrated edges are designed to do what? Rip and tear until they cut. Now if you notice here, there's not a nice clean cut, and that's because that serrated edge has that whooping effect, so it's designed to rip and tear until it goes through there. Now the thing that's great about the Cutco edge is, like I said, we have a patented edge that only our knife company had at one time. When we say patented, we mean it was patented previously.
You created it.
Right. Now the thing that's
designed
nice
it,
about
developed
this is that you can actually take that edge, hold it here. What I want you to do is go from the back to the forward, pressing down the same way that you did on your knife at home. Okay? Go ahead.
I have arthritis, so it's.
Oh no, you're fine. Now if you notice, it almost went all the way through. Usually it takes one stroke and it does that. But do you notice how there's no ripping and tearing and it makes a nice clean cut? And that's because of that edge cutting forwards, backwards, and straight down as it cuts. Okay? And one thing that we do to show you this as well is that with a serrated edge, you know how it rips and tears. Here's your favorite steak knife. It looks like you got this at a steak house, but I don't know where you got it.
My husband stole it. He likes their knives.
All right.
And if we're gonna spend $50 on a steak, then we.
Get a free knife with it. Okay, so
Well,
what
it
I
was
want,
his special. It was his favorite It's the Capitol Hill.
Okay.
It was
Downtown.
nice. Yeah,
nice.
or Capitol Grill. I never call it the right thing. It's it's over there. He works right next to it, so.
Oh, okay. So I want you to take your steak knife and I want you to hold it straight out like this. Now we have a piece of leather because this demonstrates some of your steak. Now if your steak is as tough as leather, you need to send it back, okay? But the thing that's nice about our knives is that if you do have steak that's tough like leather, your guests will never know, okay? Because our knives cut
Until
so
they
well.
chew it.
Right. So hold this straight out like this.
Okay.
Now I don't want you to move the knife because I'll do everything for you.
Okay.
Now with a serrated knife, what normally happens because you're going to take that knife and you're going to have to rip and tear when you cut through it.
Uh-huh.
Okay? That's why most people don't like their knives at home. Now, the reason why your friend recommended me to come over to your house and show you Cutco is because she absolutely loves the way that the Cutco edge cuts. So what I'm going to do is have you take this, hold it straight out in front of you. Don't move the knife, okay? Now, the thing that's nice about this is that you can take that knife, you can cut right through it, and there's no ripping and tearing that goes with it. Now, if we double that up, same thing happens, okay? And then if we 4 times it, once again, goes right through it. Pretty cool, right?
Wow.
Now, it doesn't rip or tear because that's what the knife is designed for, but this is what people love about it. You can take our knife, put the edge right on here, press straight down, and it goes right through it every single time. So there is no ripping and tearing with it as well. So if you have arthritis, it's really easy on your hands because then you don't have to grip onto the knife really strong, and when you want to use it, it just does the work for you.
Oh, wow.
Whereas before, with this knife that you have in your kitchen, you were sawing back and forth, and you could see that you were working really hard with it. Whereas with this one, it took one swipe and you went right through it.
I wanted to sing the Lumberjack song. Yeah.
Now, do you guys see what's happening right here? Mouth is open. Oh crap. What is this? I think I found something I'm going to really like, right? Now, the reason why I stopped it right here is, have you noticed that she said I have arthritis like 2 or 3 times? So what did I just say? And if you have arthritis, this is perfect for you. And what did she do? She went like this with her hand, which is a trigger saying, oh, I can't wait to have this because my hands aren't going to hurt anymore. So pay attention to that. The other thing, too, that I want you guys to see here is have fun as you go. Okay? Be real. I knew that knife that she gave me was a stolen knife, right? So that's why I go, it looks like you got this from somewhere. And she's like, oh crap, I got caught, right? And the thing is that you guys have to have fun things like that when you're in your demo, that they're like, oh no, like this is not good, right? Like he totally called me out on that, right? And the thing is that even if it's a stolen knife, you just act like it's her knife. Did you see that? When I go, well, your favorite knife, and then she's like, well, yes, right? Because we want her to take ownership of that. God bless you. Okay? Now, what do? We want to go over the leather. Okay? I want to go over the leather. Did you guys see how I did the leather? Okay, now it's probably different than the way you guys were taught. Okay? And the reason why is because I don't want to be cut, and I don't want the customer to freak out about having to cut the knife. Sometimes you get the customer goes, oh, I don't know if I could do this, right? Because they're nervous, right? You take the nerve away from them when you do all of the action. If you noticed with their favorite steak knife, what I did is I did the cutting for them, right? And then what happened with the double D edge is you always use the back of the double D edge on the back 3 teeth. That's because that edge is never used, okay? Because when you cut like this, that edge never gets touched, right? So even on a knife that's 50 years old, those 3 teeth that are on the very back, they are sharper than sharp, okay? So why do we cut the leather on the back? What we do is when we do the leather, what do? We pull straight up, right? We get it in the tooth and we pull it straight up. Then what we do is we go, now that was the first layer, let me do a second layer, right? So we double it up. Do it again, and then their mouth's like, oh my gosh, that was 2 layers. And then what did I do? I folded it up, so now it's 4 pieces, did the exact same thing, and she's like, oh no, there's no way that is happening, right? And you guys saw that, okay? If you do the leather demonstration correctly, the rope is great, but the leather is where it's at, okay? Then what you do is you saw how I stacked it up onto the cutting board and then pushed straight down with it. The customer's like, okay, done. Like, I don't have any knife that's ever done that ever in my life. Like, I've got to buy this, right? So I stopped it there so that you guys can understand that. Now, the things that there's some keys that are coming up. She gives me a buying key here in 1 second, okay? And you'll notice it. I want you to listen to the buying key, and I want you to see my reaction when she gives me the buying key. I'll give you a hint. It's on the carver, okay? So that's that there. Now, what I'm saying is when you're listening to the customer, you assume that she's going to buy it because she gave you a buying key. This is going to help us with the next, when we do the closing, right? And then what you do is you bring it up later, okay? And the nugget that I'm putting here is that you assume and then you suggest, right? because then it puts it as it's her thought, and she's the one that said, I want that, right? It's not you that told her to buy that, okay? So I want you guys to do that. By the way, when you bring up things that they bring up earlier in the demo, later, it's ammo, okay? And if you've noticed, I have a lot of ammo that's going on right now, right? Okay, I already called her out on the arthritis, okay? I already talked to her about her junk knife, right? And how it doesn't cut well. And then just watch, as you guys go through this, a lot of things that she says in her side comments, I bring up later when I'm trying to close her, okay? So, we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna stop after the shear. So, go ahead and start it back up.
Hard with it. Whereas with this one, it took one swipe and you went right through it.
I wanted to sing the lumberjack song, you know?
So that just shows you the quality of the edge that we have there on our doubled edge. Now,
Can I look at those for a second?
yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
real
they
level.
are, yeah, it is, but it's, I mean, very straight edges, very clean.
Yeah.
It would make carving a roast exceptional, and you'd get that carving station
Mhm.
look on it, which I try to do for
Some of your
some of my,
entertaining.
my dinner parties that I do, when I do
Nice.
carving stations.
Well,
That
here
would
in a
be
little
very
bit,
nice.
when we go through the individual pieces, I'll show you our main carver, and that might be
Okay.
something that sparks your interest a
Mhm.
little, okay? So we're gonna move this back over here, okay, because we don't need that anymore. And now what we wanna do is just go over our guarantee really quickly, and then we'll go over the individual pieces with you as
Okay.
well. Now, the main thing with Cutco is that we have a forever guarantee. You know, when we say forever, we mean forever. We don't mean your lifetime, we don't mean, you know, a partial guarantee. Forever means not your forever, your family, their family, their family. Whoever owns our product automatically has that guarantee with them. Okay, so if something bad happens to you or your husband, you can pass it down to your kids. Now, if you don't have kids, you can pass it down to your family, their family, their family. So whoever owns the product gets the guarantee with the product as well.
So keep your receipts forever and ever.
Actually, with Cutco, you don't have to keep your receipts.
You don't?
No, because Cutco, the receipt is actually the handle on the knife. Okay, so whoever owns the knife has that guarantee with it. Pretty cool. So
I've
it's-
seen Cutco knives at garage sales on occasion, you know, estate sales.
Uh-huh.
So if I bought a knife at a garage sale for like 50 cents and it had Cutco on it
Uh-huh.
and it didn't sharpen or it was damaged, I could get a brand new knife for that.
Well, not brand new. The thing is, yes, you can send it back to the factory and they can re-edge it and refurbish it for you. Now, the thing is that it's great to have a representative like me so that if you do need another knife or you have a question about a knife, I can take care of you from now on. Now, we would hope that you don't go out finding your Cutco at garage sales because it's very extremely rare to find it
Yeah,
at
it was
garage
an
sales.
estate sale.
Okay, so someone
So
that was
somebody
older,
had
that
passed away and.
they had
and
no clue what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Kids-
Yeah, because it's
Kids
very
selling
hard.
off the parents and stuff.
Yeah, we see it once in a while, but Cutco is one of those things that it's an heirloom thing, so people definitely know what it is and they don't let go of it. Okay,
Hmm.
especially you can see how this edge works. Wait
Mhm.
until you get the rest of the set, you will understand why you want to keep that in the family.
Okay.
Okay. Now the thing that's great about Cutco is we have 4 points that customers absolutely love about our guarantee. The first is the performance guarantee. Now that means that if any time you're not completely satisfied with the product or it's not cutting or it's not doing what it's wanting, you can simply send it back to the factory and then what they will do is they will fix the blade or they will fix the handle up to what your standards are so that we can make sure that you are 100% satisfied. Okay? The next thing is one of our biggest things, okay, and that's forever sharpness. Okay? Now with Cutco, if your knives go dull, all you have to do is simply send it back to our factory and they'll resharpen it for you and then they'll send it right back out to you. Now if you don't want to send it back to the factory, we have a new program, it's called our service call program, where I, your representative, will actually come to your house and I will sharpen them up for you for free. Okay, and that's something that a lot of my customers absolutely love, is that they can call me at any time and say, hey, my knife for my roast, it went dull, can you come over and sharpen it before Thanksgiving? Yep, sure, I'll be right on over and we'll take care of that for you. So that's a guarantee that you have there. Now, yes, when you do send it back, the sharpening is for free, but they do require you to pay for the return shipping. Okay, it's just like anything else that you
And shipping and handling, and so I'm gonna be paying $30, $40 for a new knife anyway, huh?
No.
No?
No, it's a free sharpening. So all you do is you pay the small fee of $8 and they send it right back to you.
That's all?
Yep, so if you break a knife, they'll just replace it for you, and then you only pay the return shipping. Pretty cool?
Wow, I think that you guys would try to get some more money for it to cover your costs.
No, Cutco is all about our customers. We want our customers to be 100% satisfied, so we're not going to gouge you and we're not going to charge you all these extreme prices just so that you can keep your product and be happy with it.
Wow, that's wonderful.
We want to take care of you and make sure that you're taken care of correctly. The other thing that our agreement has is our replacement for our misuse and abuse items. Okay, so if your husband Russ goes outside and he decides he wants to chop down a tree and he breaks the knife, instead of you have to pay the full price for the knife, what Cutco will allow you to do is only replace it for half the retail value. Okay, and then we call this the boys will be boys clause because it's misuse and abuse. Okay.
Okay, yeah, he's used it in the garden before.
So if he cuts his lawn outside with a knife, just expect that we have a guarantee so that you don't
Have you
get
seen the
mad.
size of my yard?
Yeah.
He could start today and still be cutting it at Christmas.
Nice. Okay, so then we have our 15-day money-back guarantee. The thing is that we allow you to try it in-home for 15 days. If you decide after 15 days you don't absolutely love the product, you can send it back to the factory and they'll give you back your money. Now, we know that our customers absolutely love the product, but we do want to let you know that you have a 15-day trial period, okay? And once you get Cutco, because you already see how it's starting to work, that you'll take that 15-day grace period and you'll be like, okay, we're going to definitely keep this stuff, okay? Now remember, it is forever guaranteed, okay? And like I said, our customer service is in the United States in Olean, New York, okay? So if you have any questions, you can call them directly, or you can call me, which I hope you would, and then we can, take care of you at that time. Okay, so that gives you the guarantee there. Now,
Wow,
the
you
thing
guys
that's
got a lot
nice.
of knives.
Yes, this set that I'm showing you here is what we call our basic set. It's basically been the #1 bought set of knives from our customers since 1949, and it's also known as our homemaker set. So this just shows you a selection of knives that we have, but we do have more of a selection here in a second as well. Okay, so that shows you our basic set just to give you an idea of what one of our sets is going to look like. Okay. Now what I want to do before we go into the individual pieces is show you too is that you do have different color options. We have the red, we have the white, and we have the dark. And then we also have some of our gadgets and accessories that are here, and then our shears.
Do the gadgets come in the white,
Uh-huh.
the different colors as
Yeah,
well?
they all
Like-
come in the different colors so that you can have everything match in your kitchen. So you don't have a brown set of kitchen tools and a white set of knives. We want it so that our customers have everything that matches in their kitchen. Okay? Now, before we go into showing you the product and going over the quality and stuff like that, the Super Shears here just reminded me that I need to show you the quality behind the metal that Cutco uses. Now, earlier we were talking about how it's a high carbon surgical stainless steel. That's so it doesn't pit, corrode, or rust. But the thing that's nice about our shears is they show you the strength that goes behind the metal that we actually use. Now, one of the key things that you need in your kitchen is a good pair of shears. So what Cutco does is we designed a pair of shears that come apart, okay? Now they are dishwasher safe just like the rest of our product. So don't worry with your Cutco knives, you can put them in the dishwasher. They're not gonna dull, they're not gonna ruin, nothing like that. Now these are really cool, and the reason why they're really cool is because we put teeth in here so they grip onto whatever they're cutting, okay? Now usually when you put something hard into it like a penny, it usually separates, breaks, or it ruins. Well, the thing that's great about Cutco is we designed a pair of scissors that actually cut through linoleum, fabric, cardboard, plastic, paper, sheet metal. You can actually use these indoors and outdoors, so if your husband wants to go down and cut a branch or a limb, he can. But remember, we have garden tools, so he doesn't have to use your shears out in the garden. Okay? But the thing that's nice about it is that you can use it inside and outdoors. Now the thing that's nice is that these are guaranteed just like Cutco. So if you break it or dull it or ruin it or mess it up in any way, Cutco's going to replace these free of cost for you forever. Okay? Now this right here, as you know, if you ever see an elephant with the trunk up, it brings you good luck. Pretty cool. So there's your little elephant for good luck. But that just shows you the quality behind the shears that we make as well.
That's so cute.
Isn't that awesome?
That's cute.
So yeah, that demonstrates quality of Cutco so that you know how our metal works and how it's not going to...
Okay, so The reason why I stop it there is because one thing that I always tell people is that we got to make our customer feel what? Special, okay? So what I do for my customers is I actually make elephants out of pennies, because if you know, an elephant with the trunk up brings you good luck. So what it does is that they're like, oh my gosh, he's giving me good luck by giving me this penny, right? So you see that there. But the reason why I wanted to go over this is because there's a lot of stuff that just happened there that you guys are probably going, okay, what's going on here? The first thing that I want you guys to pick out is that what I did is I went over the basic set. Did you guys see that? And what I did is I said, now this is what one of our sets look like. It's called our basic set. The reason why I'm saying this is what one of our sets look like is because I'm assuming that this is one of the sets that you're going to buy. So take it all in right now, because I'm going to show you what the sets are going to look like here in a minute. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm planting the seed right away with that customer to let them know that, hey, the sets are coming. Okay? After that, what we do is that we show them color options. Okay? Did you notice that that blue book had all 3 homemakers on one page? But the reason why I have the color options there is because, once again, I'm assuming that when you buy your set, you're going to pick one of these 3 colors. Does that make sense? So that's why we go over the colors. The other thing that you guys notice there too, by the way, don't you love the chanting? It's amazing. Okay? That's because it's building up to the close, right? So exciting. Okay. So what we do is that if you notice that after I show the colors, what do? I show her all the rest of the stuff that she can eventually get. Now I want you guys to make sure that you guys pay attention to that, because what I'm showing her is the giveaways. Did you notice that? The entertainer pack is there, the kitchen tool set is there, and the shears are there. So what does that do? That allows me to go, oh, by the way, it's not just the sets, we have all of our accessories that come with it as well, right? So now when I'm going into the close, now I know that she's already seen those items, right? And she already made a comment about what? The kitchen tools. Do they have to can they be the same color, right? Which is telling me, okay, she's looking at the kitchen tools. This is a good thing, right? Because now if I go into close, I know that she probably would want the kitchen tools for free, right? Cool stuff. You guys see some of this Jedi mind trick stuff that's going on here? What we're going to do is we're going to start it back up, and then I want you guys to watch the price comparison, okay?
How our metal works and how it's not going to, break apart, ruin, and that we actually make quality, okay?
I was going to say, how did you get it apart? I couldn't get it apart.
It's like a puzzle
Wow.
piece. Once you put the fitting in there, and then you just slide it together,
Okay.
right back to business. We call them double staggers. If someone comes in there in the kitchen that they're not supposed to, you can take them apart really quick. You go, get out of my kitchen. So, pretty cool.
One way to get rid of your guests.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
So those
very
are our
cool.
shears. Now, what I want to do really quickly before we go into pieces is show you a comparison between high-end brands and low-end brands. Okay? Now, Cutco is considered a very high-end brand. You would never ever see Cutco in like a bargain store that's on sale for $3.99 or like $399. You wouldn't see it for $39.99, anything like that. And the reason why is because you're literally buying a product that you're never going to buy ever again. And the thing that's nice about it too is it's made in America. It's guaranteed forever. So what we do is we do a comparison with high-end brands that are compared to Cutco. And some of these are going to be your Wusthof, your Henkel's, your Sabatier, your Global, your Shun. These are the top 5 sold brands in stores. Now the thing that's great about Cutco is we've been the #1 sold knife here in the United States for over 20 years, but we're not sold in stores. And the reason why we're not sold in stores is because A, we want this to be a private experience for just our customers to let them know that, hey, this is something that is amazing. You only can get it from this company. You're not going to find it out there that everybody and anybody can have. But at the same time, what's great about Cutco is that we want to keep our costs low enough so that you don't have to spend the outrageous price like some of those high-end brands that are sold in stores. Plus a lot of those brands, like if you look here, you have Shun, which has their 19-piece block set here. Okay, has all the pieces here, and then there's steak knives up there. Their set is suggested retail value in like Williams-Sonoma, Crate and Barrel, stuff like that, for over $4,000. Now you can get it on sale usually on their websites and stuff like that for $2,700. Okay, Now, the other thing is Wusthof, which Wusthof has been one of those top-selling brands for a very long time. They're the German brand, okay? And it has the steak knives, and then it has all of your pieces here with the shears. Now, the reason why we show you the 20-piece set and the 19-piece set is because our number one knife set, like I said earlier, was the Homemaker set, which is our 20-piece set as well, okay? So we always want to compare to the sets that are comparable to Cutco. And of course, Wusthof is a little bit cheaper. They're about $3,400, and they're on sale for $2,000. Now, the thing that's great about it is that if you look here, Wusthof, they have straight edges, and then they have the rounded edges, which means they have serrated edges, which rip and tear. Okay, Cutco has they have straight edges, and then they have the double D edges, which means that they're going to stay sharp a lot longer. The other thing that you're going to notice too is that we have ergonomic handles, whereas all your other knife companies that are out there, they all have straight heavy-duty handles, just
I've
like
noticed
this
that.
one. And that's anti-fatiguing, and the more you use it, the more you're like, oh my gosh, I can't use this anymore because my hands hurt. Okay, we want it so that your hands feel great when you're using the product. Okay, now if you look at all of our competitors, they do have a guarantee. I'm not saying that they don't, but their guarantee is a limited lifetime warranty, which means limited of however long that they give you. Like it could be a 2-year warranty, it could be a 7-year warranty, whatever it is. You have to make sure that you have to keep your paperwork, make sure that they know that you bought it, and then you have to take care of it. When it comes to your Wusthof knives, their guarantee is only manufacturer defects only. So that means if you buy the product, get it home, and there's something wrong with it, and then they'll fix it. Other than that, you break it, ruin it, dull it, you have to replace the knife for free, or you have to replace the knife over and over and over again. Whereas with Cutco, we have that forever guarantee, which remember has the performance guarantee, so if you don't like the way it's cutting, you can send it back to get it refurbished, replaced, and get it all taken care of. We also have our forever sharpness, where I come out to the house and sharpen it for free, or you can send it back to the factory and they sharpen it for you for free. And then we have the forever replacement for our misuse and abuse, okay? Break a tip, crack it, melt it. Anything bad happens to that knife, you can send it back to the factory and they're going to replace it for you, okay? And then we have our 15-day money-back guarantee, which we want to make sure that you're making the right decision rather than saying, okay, I bought this and I really don't like it, then I have to keep it. Okay? We really have a loyalty to our customers, and we have a huge respect for the people that actually purchase our product.
So I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
You just mentioned a broken tip on a knife. How does the factory know that I didn't break the tip when I was carving a prime rib because it hit the bone and it broke the tip off, or my husband was cutting the garden hose to try to put a new piece together on it?
Well, the thing that's nice about Cutco and our guarantee is that Cutco always works with the customer. So if you break it on accident and you write a letter to the customer, or Cutco customer service and say, hey, this tip broke, I don't know how it broke, or something like that, you're obviously the customer. They want to take care of you and make sure that that knife is back to the way that it's supposed to.
Okay.
If you deliberately break it, don't worry, we'll still guarantee it for you. But remember,
that's when
we
you
have
pay
that-
to happen.
the misuse and abuse. The thing is too is that you got to remember that Cutco has a huge loyalty to our customers. We don't ever want you to buy a different knife brand other than ours, because we want you to A, support America, because that's why we're made here in America. B, we want you to buy our product because it's guaranteed forever. And C, we want you to tell everybody about our product, because we hope that you absolutely love it and that you enjoy it just like the other 16 million satisfied customers that we have.
Makes sense.
Okay. So what I want to do really quickly is I want to go over our sets for life.
Okay.
Okay. Now the reason why we call this sets for life is because literally it's your lifetime, your family, their family, their family. Now we have 3 major sets that Cutco has to offer for our customers that they absolutely love. Now we have multiple sets that are out there, but these are the 3 sets that are common for our customers to buy because they're the right size, they have everything that you need in it. Okay?
Okay.
So the first set that we have is, of course, our basic set of knives. That's the one we were talking about earlier, has been our #1 butt knife set of all time. The next set that we have is what we call our family set. Now, it's also known as the signature set, but we call it the family set because not only do you get all the basic pieces, but you get some of our specialty pieces that our customers can't live without. Like the shears come in this one, Our cheese knife, you said you like to entertain. This is another one of those fantastic
Yeah, my friend
pieces
uses her cheese knife for everything.
for everything. Okay.
Mhm.
Which we're going to go over the knives so that we can best see what kind of knives that you're looking at and get an idea of how you cook in your kitchen. And then what we have is we have our complete line. Now the complete set is also known as our ultimate set. That has all your cleavers, your boning knives, your fillet knives. It has all those extra specialty pieces that if you're someone that cooks a lot and has to have everything, this is a perfect set for you. Okay. Now we show you this just so that you know that if there's something that you really want, you can get it, and we will make it. Okay. Now we're going to go over this. So what I've done is I've actually have a pen and paper here for you. And this pen and paper is designed for you to jot down things as I'm going through it. Now, I'm not going to pull out every single one of these knives because obviously there's like 40 of them. But the thing is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the specialty pieces
Okay.
with you. But then I'm going to pull out the ones that are most common, most bought items so that you can feel it, you can see it, you can touch it, and you can know exactly what's in it. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what I want you to do is I'm going to ask you this question after every time I show you a knife. Could you see yourself using this? If the answer is yes, I want you to just jot down the name, okay?
Okay.
If it's a no, then you just don't write it down,
Okay.
okay? And don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you say no to some things, okay? I
Okay.
want you to say yes to everything because obviously you should have everything. But the thing
Typical
is,
salesman.
but the thing is that I'm one of these real reps that want you to get exactly what you need in your kitchen.
And
okay?
I can always build on it.
Obviously, you can say, I want this now, and then I want to add on to it later, and we can definitely help you with that. So we're going to start from there, and then we're going to work our way this way, okay? The first knife that you see on there is our paring knife. As you know, in the kitchen, you can never have enough paring knives. Paring knives are designed so you can pare in the air, tops off strawberries, coring apples, sectioning grapefruits. Remember, pare in the air, so it's in the air, okay? We don't use this knife to cut on a cutting board, okay? That's why we have utility knives and stuff like that. Now, as I'm going to show you this, the thing that's great about our Cutco edges is that we were actually featured on Modern Marvels for being the world's sharpest straight edge knives. Okay, this is one of those edges that we're famous for. Okay, unlike your other knife companies that actually stick it in a machine and stamp the edge on it, what we do is we actually hand hone every single one of our knives so we can get the perfect angle and the perfect sharpness on it. That's why your friend always says, "Oh my gosh, these are super sharp." So the thing that's nice about this paring knife is that when you go to cut it in the air, you don't have to worry about slipping, stopping, going. You know, it just glides right through your fruits and vegetables really easy. Now we made the longer handle so it doesn't dig into the palm of your hand, and you don't have to choke up on the blade to try to cut all your fruits and vegetables. Now, could you see yourself using that?
Yes, I could.
Okay, so let's write that one down, which is your paring knife. You've got it already. Perfect.
I did that. Yeah, because I do a lot of all blend strawberries and blueberries and apple juice together.
The reason why I'm stopping it right there is because that's the time where you show the straight edge, right? I think it's very important that when you talk about the straight edge, you guys talk about Modern Marvels, where the sharpest knives in the world, and then go through that with the paring knife. And then the other thing that you guys notice too is that I go over the 3 sets, right? I said the 3 major sets Cutco has to offer is, and then I showed her the 3 sets. So what is the customer thinking? These are the 3 sets that I have to pick from, right? So pay attention to that as well. And then we're gonna let this run through because I only have 10 minutes left. And then I will stop one more time and then we'll tell you what happens, okay?
All blend strawberries and blueberries and apple juice together and cook it with my whole oats with a little bit of brown sugar so that I make big pots of it at a time so I can do
Use one knife and take your
fruit
volume.
oatmeal for,
Nice.
actually I have a couple of them because of course you don't want to do cross-contamination, so.
Right. Well, and like they say, you never can have enough paring knives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which we can always look at getting you a couple extras if you need it as well.
Okay.
The next knife that you're going to see there is actually our #1 bought knife of all time. That's called our trimmer. The trimmer is also known as the utility knife. You know how you go into those fancy places and they have that one knife that's sitting in the glass box and it says utility knife and it's like $349? That's basically the knife that's right here. Okay, now ours is not $349 because we would never charge you that for a utility knife. Now, our customers think that we should, but we would never do that to our customers. Because once you have this, you'll use it for almost everything in your kitchen. So this is like fat off your meat, meat off the bone, trimming tomatoes, coring apples, sectioning grapefruits. It's going to be your right-hand man in the kitchen. So like I said, the paring knife is in the air, and then this one's going to be on a cutting board. Now remember, it has that edge that Cutco is famous for, which is our double the edge. So when you do cut a tomato, it makes a thin slice, and you don't have to worry about it squishing or popping or anything like that. Pretty cool? Now could you see yourself using that one?
Definitely,
Perfect.
especially since you can do veggies and meats with it.
Perfect. The next knife right there is called our spatula spreader. Our representatives and us and our customers love it, okay? The spatula spreader is for pies, lasagnas, casseroles. You were talking about entertaining. It's designed so that you can cut, you can scoop, and then you can spread with it. So it's an all-purpose utility knife. So if you are someone that entertains, you can set it out into the bowl or into the pan so they can scoop out their brownies. You can frost your frosting on it, and then what's great about it is you can do your mayonnaise on your toast. And then what you can do is you can cut it in half, and then you can use it for your sandwiches and anything like that. Okay? Also known as a spatula spreader. This item was actually on TV on Spreadable Edibles for the #1 spreader out there. Pretty cool? Could you see yourself using that?
Actually, no.
No? Okay.
No, because I like the little rubber things that get all the frosting and the cake batter.
Oh, well, this one's super
Around.
thin, and it actually does a better job. Just like
Than the rubber does?
it does, yes.
Oh, really?
I know that's hard to believe, but I'm not just trying to sell it to you, but I can tell you that once you get this, you won't ever say anything bad about it. This is actually the most underrated thing that Cutco makes. And I'm just telling you this because we get a lot of people like, I would never use that. And then they get it, and then they're like, the
Yeah,
best thing in the whole thing is that knife.
I wouldn't, yeah, normally I wouldn't because it's not rubber, so you wouldn't be able to, you know how when you have a spatula, because I have different sizes of the rubber spatulas from really narrow to your
Really wide.
big honker ones so that I can be able to do.
Well, this one has enough
cake
surface
batter.
area on it that it will literally scrape around the bowl. And when you think that it's not going to get that little edge that's on there, it's rounded just right so that it'll just scoop right out of there. We see it all the time where people use these for mayonnaise out of a jar, because you know how mayonnaise has that little lip in the bottom?
Right.
It just scoops right out of it. It's awesome. And Nutella, awesome on Nutella as well.
I don't like Nutella.
Okay.
Give me real chocolate.
So we'll pass that one. The next one that we have is our petite carver. That's the one that you use to cut the rope. Your petite carver is going to be something for obviously cantaloupe, pineapple. You can use it for those kind of items, but you can also use it for doing your small chickens, your small game hens. It's designed so that you have a knife that's not too small like the utility knife here, but a little bit larger so that you can use it for all of your small roast and your small carving.
So I have a question for you again. This spatula spreader, going back to it,
Okay.
because you have me intrigued now.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm one of those kind of like see it and then I'll believe it,
Uh-huh.
and I gotta see it.
Right.
So if I bought one of these, didn't you have something like your 15-day thing?
You get 15 days to try it out. If you
So if I
say,
didn't
Curtis, I do
like
not
it,
want this, you can
Then
send it back and they'll give you
I
your
can
money.
trade it, or
You can trade it, or we can give you your money back for it.
okay.
A lot of customers, they end up getting it, and then they're like, oh, I can't believe I would say I didn't use it. But I do have some customers that are like, hey, I really don't use it, so can I swap it out for something? And we can easily do that for you.
Okay, I'll put it on my list to try since I have that 15 days.
I've been doing this for 13 years now, and I can tell you, my customers that get that absolutely love it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, since you have that policy, then I'll try it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Now, these are your petite carving set. Remember how I was telling you that? And those come standard in every single one of our sets. See, if we close it, it's still in that one. If you close it, it's still in that one. That's because those are our most used pieces that we make. Okay.
So
Your
you do
turning
have the
fork.
fork.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
turning fork is a serving fork. Okay. Now we have our carver and our carving knife over here, which that we're going to get into that. The carving fork has two prongs so that you can actually stick it in the meat and then carve it. Okay. The turning fork is so you can turn over your bacon, your sausage and ham, pickles, cherries, and olives out of a jar. and this is great for barbecuing as well. The third prong here is great for serving because after you carve up your turkey, you put this inside of the pan, and then your guests can pick up their turkey and put it onto their plate, and they don't have to worry about it sliding off of the fork or not getting onto their plate. That's why people absolutely love this. And a lot of people go, well, why do I have two forks? The reason why is you have a carving fork and you have a serving fork. They're totally different. Okay? They call it a turning fork, but my customers know it as the serving fork of Cutco. And you'll actually use that in the morning for everything. So especially like flipping over hamburger patties, anything like that.
Okay, and you said that you can use this on a barbecue grill.
Uh-huh.
How long is it?
The length is right here. 5 3/8 is
So-
the length of the metal.
Is the metal.
and
Okay,
then the
so getting
handle.
it next to the barbecue grill, I mean, I use these long things. so
Yep, we
that
have
it
those
doesn't
in the
get
back of our
hot.
catalog.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have a whole barbecue set. I just like this so that if you're in a quick hurry and you don't want to, find a barbecue tongue, you can just take it out from your set in your
Mm-hmm.
steaks that you're going to throw out there, put it on there, leave it on the plate, and then when you go out to check your steaks, you already have
Yeah.
the fork sitting there.
Well,
So-
we have the indoor grill too. We have a gas stove
Oh,
and a
okay.
gas oven,
Oh,
so
nice.
we do the indoor grilling during
Yeah.
the winter time when it's snowing out.
Yeah, you'll love that piece.
Okay.
That's one of those cool pieces of Cutco. Now, if you
Okay.
see yourself using that, like I said, just jot that
Mhm.
one down, because then we're going to move on to the next one. So that's the turning
Okay.
fork, and that's the petite carver.
Okay.
Okay. The next knife that we have is what we call our butcher knife. Here in
Mhm.
Colorado, it's our favorite piece. It's our melon knife. Most people think butchering, so they think disjointing, cracking open, splitting apart hamburger patties, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this one does that, but it also does our melons, our cantaloupe, our honeydew, our watermelon, our pineapple, butternut squash,
Butcher
acorn.
knife?
Uh-huh. Butternut squash, acorn squash, and spaghetti squash. This is one of the original pieces from the 1940s, okay? And it's one of the Cutco classics. And of course, because you're a chef, you can't have a good knife set without a chef knife. So we have the French chef here for chopping, dicing, slicing, and mincing of fruits and vegetables. So if you can see yourself using that one, jot it down. And then we have a bread knife slicer, breads, bagels, baguettes, muffins, rolls, slicing turkeys, hams, ribs, anything like that. So you have that. And then of course we talked about the carving set. Now I want to show you this so that you get an idea. Everything we just went over, that's the basic set.
Okay.
Now we're going into our family set, which has the specialty pieces here. Okay.
Okay.
Now this one right here is one of our customer favorite knives. It's called the bad boy of the set. Okay, it's what every woman wants in their kitchen. It does raw meats, cooked meats, frozen stuff, pits of mangoes, peaches, avocados. You can do butternut squash. You can do acorn squash. Basically, it's your utility knife and your French chef, which you have to have in your kitchen. These two knives, they put them together and they made the knife on steroids. Okay, so this one's one of our combo. So it's one of our favorite pieces that we have. That's known as the
Okay.
Hardy. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this knife here is kind of famous from some of the people that you see on TV. It's called the Santoku knife. It's for chopping, dicing, slicing, mincing. Yep. It's one of the professional knives of Cutco.
Oh,
And that's our
perfect
petite.
size.
Yep. Now the petite comes in the family set, and then we have the larger one, which is our 7-inch one, which comes in the complete set. So,
I really like this size. It's good for me. I have arthritis and I've had so many surgeries for trigger finger and stuff. This would be, my hand is so weak. This would be very, very good.
very easy, and it's weighted
perfect
very nice
size. Do you have this in like a double D?
too. That is this one here, the Hardy Slicer.
Oh, okay.
Yep. This one's just a little bit bigger. The Hardy Slicer is a little bit bigger, but
Uh-huh.
it's almost the same size as that.
Oh,
That's
it's
why
only-
these two come in
Only
the
a half
family
inch
set.
longer.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why customers absolutely love both of these pieces. Can you see
Wow.
why people like the
Oh,
family
yes,
set?
definitely. And it has the cheese and then the
Yep,
scissors.
and then that's the next one we're going to talk about is your cheese knife. Now I have the pearl one so that you can see the white handle up close. The cheese knife is for tomatoes, onions, anything that sticks to the blade. That's what the holes are designed. And it's a Cutco edge that's inside of itself, so it's like a micro Cutco edge. And that's why your friend uses it for everything, because it
she
just
does.
cuts like a dream.
She uses it for meat, she uses it for veggies.
So that's the
I keep telling her she's calling it the wrong thing.
petite
So it
Santoku.
does.
And then there's the cheese knife. Pretty cool. And you can see yourself using almost all of these, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. And then, of course, the shears, that's something that everybody has to have.
Okay. See how great this is going? It's like perfect, right? So the reason why I stopped it there is that, did you guys notice the pieces that I strategically am showing the customer? Okay, it's all the pieces that I want that customer to buy, or I want them to at least get what is in that set, right? So I showed her the Petite Santoku and the cheese knife, and did you notice I didn't show her a butcher knife, a chef knife, nothing like that? Because if she falls in love with the Petite Santoku and the cheese knife, she already loves the shears, the minimum set that she can buy is what? Signature set, right? Okay, so you got to pay attention to how you do that. When you show product to customers, make sure that it's strategic in what you're trying to accomplish. Make sense? The other thing that I have right here is that it helps you sell the set that you want as long as you do it correctly, okay? If you talk about things that are in a set that don't come in the other set, it's very hard for you to close them on the set that you want them to buy. Does that make sense? The other thing that I have right here is golden nugget. Don't take no for an answer. Oh, would you see yourself using that? No. What do you mean no? How dare you say no to that, right? And did you see what I did? I can't believe you'd say that. Every customer that has this says it's amazing, right? And then what ends up happening is then her mind finally processed, and then it's all like, okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me about this one more time, right? And that's why you saw with the spatula spreader. So take your time, guys. Show it to them. What I do is I go over the ultimate pieces, but with the ultimate pieces, I go really quickly through them because those are pieces that most people don't really like. You know, like she says, I would never use the salmon knife. The cleaver's really big. But the thing is, she likes what? The boning knife, the 4-inch paring knife, and the vegetable knife, right? Which means that she's a perfect candidate for the ultimate. One thing that I want you guys to know is that when I'm going through this, at the very end is what? The table knives and the steak knives. What I do at the end of my presentation is I go, and these are our table knives or our steak knives. If you were to pick a preference, which one do you like better? The steak knives or the table knives? Obviously, and it's funny because you don't get to see it in here, I say, obviously the steak knives are similar to the one that your husband stole at the restaurant. I was all like, or you can get the table knives, which is a piece that's been around since the 1940s, right? So you have that aspect to it. But here's the question that I want you guys to write down that you need to do, which is going to help us with the close. Okay, this is a huge key to our close. When we show them the table knife, steak knives, we ask them, if you were to get a set of steak knives today, would you need 8, 10, or 12? Or would you need 24? Okay? We always go above and beyond what's in the sets because what we do is the customer's like, oh no, 24 is way too much, but 12 is the perfect number, right? And that's what she does. She goes, oh, I have to have at least 12, right? And then I'm like, oh, 12. We'll go ahead and write down 12. And did you like the table knives or steak knives? She goes, oh, well, obviously the restaurant style. Okay, write down steak next to it, right? So then that customer writes down 12 steak knives. So obviously in the close, what it is it's already on her list. One thing that I wanted you guys to notice, if you ask the question repetitively, do you think you'd see yourself using that? She's all like, yes. Do you think you'd use that? Yes. After you do it after like 5 or 6 items, did you notice that she just started writing it down? And the reason why is because it's like, yep, I need that one. Yep, I need that one. Right? And if she doesn't write it down, did you notice that when she didn't write down the Petite Santoku or the cheese knife? I said, now you do see that you could use all of that, right? And she looks right at me and she goes, yeah, I can see myself using that. Here, like we won't get to see it, but I tell her, okay, well make sure you write that down, right? And the reason why this is important that we have that customer write that stuff down is because she can't say no to what she wants, not what I want her to get. Does that make sense? So it's going to help us in the long time because we're going to be weaving a web around what she said she wants. And you guys will see that in the close. And the thing that's exciting about this is that when you guys see the close, I'm going to teach you guys how to do the exact close that I do so that the customer makes up their mind right away.
In their kitchen. I'm one of these, if you don't have a pair of Cutco shears, you're missing out. So then in the complete set, just to go through these, and then we'll go over the sets. You have your vegetable knife, which is the sharpest straight edge knife that I think Cutco makes. The thing that's nice about this is that it's so fine, it's almost like a straight razor, you know how they use those? It has that fine edge that's right on here. That's for your cilantros, your herbs, your basils, your chopped peanuts, walnuts, almonds. You can chop, you can dice, you can slice, and then you can mince with it as well.
You sound like you're from Ronco. You're from Popito.
No infomercial. I sound like it, but and it's fantastic for julienning as well. So, and then you have your
Julie
meat.
who?
Julienning. You know,
Julienning?
cutting at an angle. Yeah, cutting at an angle. And then you have your cleaver. Now the cleaver is for disjointing chickens, turkeys, ducks, separating frozen food. It's designed for meat tenderizing. You can also use it for doing coconuts. You use the back of it to to crack your coconut. The tip up here is for meat tenderizing, so you can pound it on the side, anything like that. So that's
Like a
the cleaver.
machete.
Like a machete, yes. Then you have your fillet knife, also known as the salmon knife. This is thin slices of meat. You know how when you go to the fancy restaurant they have the carving station? This one's very flexible, it's easy to use. Thin slices of meat, you know, like fillets of fish, brisket, tri-tip, stuff like that. That's one of those other knives. Customers love that one there. And then you have your petite slicer. These are for those people that don't like the large bread knife. They want something a little bit smaller. We do make a different size in that as well. Then we have your boning knife, which is your raw meat knife. The raw meat knife is designed so that you can, you know, do fillets of your meats, boneless meats. You can take the gristle and the fat off of it as well. That's also known as the raw meat knife. You can see yourself using that one. Can you see yourself using any of these?
I don't know about the salmon knife. That's really a long blade. I probably wouldn't want to use something that long.
Okay.
But because I like the compactness of the Hardy and the Petite that you have.
The petites and two don't.
I really love those.
The boning knife is classic.
Okay.
And then, of course, the cheese knife we already went over.
Mhm.
And then we have the longer paring knife. And the longer paring knife is our customer recommended one. It's longer so you can cut on a cutting board and you can cut in the air. So it's like a 2-in-1 paring knife. That's why you see
Paring
it.
knife that's on the board. I thought you only do hand things with paring.
Right.
knives.
Well, with this paring knife, you can actually use it on a cutting board. So like if you want to do a small
Okay.
fruit or nectarine.
So 4-inch on board.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, we will be sending you a brochure that tells you what the knives are used for as well, okay? So you don't have to worry or guess or try to figure out what's going on with it, okay?
Okay.
And then, of course, you can, when you get your sets, they automatically come with the table knives or the steak knives. Those steak knives are kind of like your restaurant style one that Russ took from that restaurant, which is like this.
The
That-
Capitol Grill.
Yes, and the restaurant style steak knives.
Sorry,
come-
Capitol Grill.
And the restaurant style ones are big like this, and then our table knives, which are our original ones from the 1940s. Okay. Now, with the complete set, you get 12. With the family set, you get 10. Okay, of either one. But then when you go into the basic set, we don't give the steak knives in that one. And the reason why is because the big steak knives are held into bigger blocks. Okay. But you get a choice of that. Now, if you are looking for steak knives, are you looking for more 8, 10, or 12?
12.
12. Okay, so that would be more of like a complete set here. So you can write down 12. Do you like the steak knives or do you like the table knives better?
Probably the steak knives.
Okay, so write down steak.
So steak, yeah, okay.
Okay, got that there?
And you have to make me a promise. You don't turn me in for stealing that Capitol knife, and I won't turn you in for defacing government money.
Oh, trust me, it's okay. I won't turn you in if you don't tell me anyone. Okay?
Okay.
So that shows you the 3 major sets. Basic, family, complete. Okay? So it gives you an idea of what you're looking at.
I want it all, but I probably couldn't afford it all right at one time.
Okay? Well, let's do this. Let's go over the prices for you. Okay? And the thing is, when we go over the prices, I want you to keep an open mind. that when we show you the prices, they're going to be expensive because Cutco's not cheap. Cheap things
I
aren't good.
I know
Good
that.
things aren't cheap. But I want you to understand that you don't have to buy it all at once if you don't want to. We can find a set that works perfect for you, and you can always upgrade later on and add on to it if you need to. Okay? But what you're going to be is you're going to be blown away by some of the prices, because like the price comparison that we showed you, usually, you know, $2, $3, $4 in stores, you're not going to find that at all. Even our complete set, which is one of everything Cutco makes, is cheaper than the sale price of all of our competitors. Okay?
Okay.
So I want you to have that in the back of your mind. Okay?
I know I just spent $79 for a set of knives for my trailer.
Right? You should have waited. You could have got Cutco.
Yeah, but you know, you're pulling weight, and I don't want to have really heavy knives. And I know that most of my knives are really heavy. You know, just like the knife that we got from Capital Grill that you're doing. That's a heavy knife.
Right.
And
Well,
so
you won't have to worry about that with Cutco. 'Cause
I just buy cheap things.
ours are well balanced and they're not heavy. Okay.
Okay.
So we
Well, I
got to take
noticed
the
that.
cheap out of it.
I noticed, yeah.
We got to buy high quality. Okay. It lasts longer.
Yeah.
Because you spent all that money for your RV, you might. As well
Oh
have
yeah,
something good
it's a
in there,
small
too.
house.
Right.
Yeah, it's 45 feet long, so.
Okay. So let me take your list here. Okay. And we're going to go over this with you.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about closing. Why not show you how to close it, not just show you how to sell it to her, right? Now, did you guys notice I wasn't selling it to her hardly at all? I was showing her, right? I already assumed that she was going to buy it when she started talking about her crappy knives, showed her the sets and said, you have to buy this, etc., right? So then what do? We suggest what she should have in her kitchen. One thing that you guys probably noticed is that I don't cut up food at all, okay? Reason why I don't cut up food at all is because that's a waste of time, okay? Now, the reason why I say waste of time is because if you're cutting up all that food, that's great, but you're getting further and further away from closing the deal, okay? If she wants to cut up something, cut up whatever you want to cut up, okay? I'm not telling you not to cut up anything, but one thing that you guys noticed is that I didn't do the shears at the very beginning. I did the shears right before I show her the sets, because I call that the hook, okay? Mrs. Jones is like, oh wow, this stuff is amazing. Oh my gosh. Yes, and this is what a basic set looks like. Oh, and I forgot to show you the quality behind Cutco and why you need to buy it. Boom, show her the shears. She's mine, right? It's that hook. Baby, you're mine, okay? So that's why I don't do a lot of cutting, because guess what? If you do the cutting correctly, if you cut the leather correctly and you cut something cool with a penny, you really don't need to cut anything else. Mrs. Jones knows that that knife is going to cut. It's going to do what you tell it's going to do. Make sense? So you see that in the video. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 things. Okay? 5 major topics that's going to allow you to close the customer perfectly. Okay? Now, if you guys notice that there's a role play and there's all of that goes on afterwards, right? These 5 things that we're going to go over is going to help you with the paper close. Okay, we call it the paper close. How many of you guys know what the paper close is? Oh, this is amazing. So exciting. This is going to be revolutionary. Okay, this is going to change your business. I found this out like 2 years after doing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have done this with my mom and my aunt and I would have sold more than just a paring knife and a cutting board, right? So, first thing that I have right here, you have to get the customer to write down, okay, you guys ready for this? 1, write this down. Write down all products the customer might be interested in, right? So, if you guys notice, that starts at the very beginning. The customer's making a wish list and she doesn't even know it, okay? That's what I love about it. What I have you do is I have you write this down just to help me out so that I know what you're thinking and what you like. You notice how I said that in the video? And she's all like, oh, okay, I'll do that for you, right? They're not going to say, no, I don't want to write down anything. They're like, I'm in a demo, I might as well do what he tells me to do, right? So, key number 1 to closing. Have the customer write down all products that they might be interested in. What's the one thing that we say to them to get it to write down? Is that something that you see yourself using? Write that down. Now, the second thing is we asked for what? Permission. Write that down. Ask permission to go over what they wrote down. When you guys see this video, it's going to start up where I say, hey, can I see the list that you wrote down? Right? That's asking her permission. Can I see it? If she says, well, I don't want you to see it, there's a lot of stuff on here, you're like, that means you're going to buy everything that's on there, right? And you joke with her, and she's like, I don't know if I can, right? Don't worry, Mrs. Jones. Once you see the price, you're going to be shocked. Okay, and you'll see that in the video. So pay attention to the stuff that's happening in the video. I'm not going to stop the video because when you watch it, you're going, okay, wow, like this is really happening right now. Okay? 3, explain and go over the set options that they might want based on what they wrote down. Get what I'm saying there? So 3, explain and go over the set option that they might want based on what they wrote down. Because here's the thing. This customer said that she wants 12 steak knives. What set comes with 12 steak knives? So what do I have to show her? Well, based off of what you wrote down, Mrs. Jones, sad face, I have to show you this. Because this accommodates the amount of steak knives that you said you wanted. And there's only one set that comes with what you want. So let me go over it and explain to you what you're getting in your set. Did you guys hear what I just did there? What you're getting in your set? Pay attention to these key words, okay? The more that you say you, yours, you're going to love it. I can't wait for you to have it. They start to take ownership, right? And then they believe that it's already theirs and that I really don't have to sell them because they're already going to give me their credit card. That's what we want, right? Give me your credit card. Okay. So, and what I have here under number 3 is your professional recommendation. So write that down, your professional recommendation. Now, just so you know, I do this for a living. So my professional recommendation is that you get this set here. One line that you guys I'm going to have you guys write down here, okay, is what? You guys are like, I have no idea. Right? You would be, write this down. This is right underneath this pro recommendation. You would be a great candidate for this set. You would be a great candidate for this set. When you guys hear this in the video, it's monumental, okay? You use that line with your customers. They know that when you say that you are a professional and that's what you recommend, so I have to have it, right? I'm a candidate, which means that I might as well do it, right? Okay? Number 4, go over pricing on those sets or on that set. So 4, go over the pricing on that set. Now all these keys are going to help you so that when you guys role play with it, I want you guys to, with your role playing, you guys are going to close a homemaker. You guys are going to close a signature by doing all of these steps. Okay? Go over pricing on those sets. Now, the thing is that I'm going to teach you guys the paper close after the video before we go into the role playing so that you know the rest of step number 4. Okay, step number 4, on the bottom, you're going to put normal, your price, 5 pay with a box, and then step number 5, answer any questions that they might have, drop down, and reassure the customer. Big thing there is reassure the customer. We reassure the customer that this is the perfect set because why? It's American made, it's guaranteed forever. You'll have a representative like me that'll come out to your house and sharpen your knives for you for free forever. Plus the thing that's nice about this is that you won't need your knife sharpened but every 7 to 10 years. And the great thing is that you will never, ever have to buy a set of knives ever again. That's the reassuring close. By the way, if you didn't get that, I'm sorry. You have to wait for the video. It's too much. No, I'm joking. We'll go back over it, okay? All you guys are like, no. Okay. So I'm trying to go slow. If you guys notice, the way that I teach, I go very slow so that you guys can get everything, so that it's not like, oh my gosh, like I have to backtrack and try to figure out all this stuff, okay? I want it so that you guys get it on the first time, so that we don't have to go over it 5 or 6 or 7 times. I want it so that it makes sense right away, okay? So, did you guys get that? Key number 1 is have the customer write down everything or all the products that they like. 2, ask permission to see their list. 3, explain and go over the set that they are looking at or you are professionally recommending. Number 4, go over pricing using the paper close. And 5, answer any questions, drop down, and then reassure. Okay? Now, does a customer every single time get exactly the set you show them first every time? No, right? But you'd be shocked by, if you do this approach, how many customers are like, okay, sounds good, let's do it. You're like, sweet, let's write that thing up, right? Now, one thing that I want you guys to know is that everybody thinks that, well, what Curtis does in his closing is that he gets the customer to go through the whole entire blue book, gets them to write down everything that they want, and then he closes them on big package deals. You're incorrect, okay? If it's a demo, we don't do that. If it's a service call, yes, we do that, because they already know what Cutco is. They already expect that it's going to be expensive, right? So you'll see in the video where after I close her on the set and she goes, yep, I'd like to do that, I then allow her to flip through the catalog and tell her, if you want to add on anything, let me know, and I'll go over some of those prices with you. I think it's very important that you guys understand a new customer needs to be closed first and then added on afterwards, okay? So you need to make sure that you guys write that down. I don't want to hear it where you guys are trying to show a customer a $10,000 package, she says no, right? And then she's like, no, just get out of my house. Like, this is just ridiculous, okay? This isn't RDC where we have $1 million shippers in here where I can tell you, well, this is how you sell a $10,000 order, okay? Do you know how many $1 million shippers have never even had a 5K order, okay? So let's be real, okay? Let's close the set that we know that they want and then add stuff onto it as we go. Cool? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to watch this video. When you guys watch the video, I'm not going to stop it. I want you guys to take it all in. I want you to pay attention to these 4 keys that I gave you after writing down everything, okay? And I want you guys to pay attention, take notes on it, so that when we do the role play, you know exactly what's going on. Once I show you guys the paper close, which is up here, it's going to all make sense to you, and then we're going to be closing fiends, okay? You guys are going to be homemakers selling machines. I hope that you sell signatures and ultimates, because we have how many sets that we offer? 3 major sets, and that's what? The basic, the family, and the complete set. Cool? Okay, so let's go to this video. Let's watch this.
Okay, so let me take your list here, okay, and we're going to go over this with you, okay? Paring knife, trimmer, spatula, turning fork, carver, butcher knife, chef knife. Okay, so no matter what, page 1, everything in here you could use, okay, because you wrote here, page 1, I'll take it all. Mm-hmm. And then you have Hardy slicer, petite Santuco cheese knife, boning knife, 4-inch, okay, and 12 steak knives. So you'd be a great candidate for, of course, our full set. Like you said, I would like it all. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the normal price, and then I'm going to show you your price. Okay. Now the normal price is what Cutco would charge you if you bought it from them directly. And I'm going to show you your price because since your friend recommended me over to the house, I can actually get you a better deal on it. And the thing that's nice about it is that Cutco allows me to discount it just a little bit because I'm in your home and I'm, going through the process for you. Okay. Now, if you do the complete set would cost that
Oh
total
my
there.
goodness.
Yeah. It's not cheap, like I said, but the thing that's nice is that cheap things aren't good and good things aren't cheap. Now, for Cutco, what we do is we give you the discount price of that.
Okay.
So it drops the price that much. And then what we do, since you are a new customer of Cutco, we allow you to split this up into 4 payments, or actually 5 payments, interest-free. That way you don't have to pay for it all today. And what you do is you only pay that much today, and then what we do is we just bill you until it's paid off. There's no interest, no credit check, no background check, nothing like that, because we have loyalty to you. But remember, you have 30 days to try it out. So after 30 days, if you decide that you don't want it, you can send it back. They give you back that full deposit. If you keep it, which we know you will, then what we do is we just bill you until it's paid off. No interest, no.
So in the 4 payments of this.
5 payments.
The 5 payments of this, how often is it? Like every 30 days, every 60 days?
Yep, it's every 30 days until it's paid off.
Okay.
So, today is what, the 11th, so it'll be the 11th of every month from then on out. So it'll be paid off before you know it, and you'll have a set of knives you never have to worry about or have to buy ever again, and they stay sharp for a very, 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 very long time, okay? And the complete set would give you all of this, and then it would give you 12 of the steak knives as well.
Now, would it be a different price if I did table knives instead of steak knives?
It would, so if you take the table knives, so we're gonna put table knife here, the table knives is actually gonna drop it down to this price, which is only gonna cost you this much for 5 months. So a little bit difference, but not a huge difference. Because you gotta remember, you're going from the smaller table knife to the large restaurant style steak knives.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on what you think is better.
Okay.
Now, does this sound good, or did you want me to show you something a little bit different?
I don't know if I want to spend quite that much
Okay.
right off the bat. Can we look at something a little bit smaller?
Yeah, no problem.
And
And like I
then-
said, you don't have to pay for it all at once. You can split it up into the payments and that. So
Mhm.
if you want to, you can do that. And like I said, you can always upgrade later on, okay? So what if we show you our family set? Because now you did say that you really like the Petite Santuca,
Yes, I
which comes
do.
in that.
Mhm.
And then your cheese knife, and then your shears, and then of course that hearty slicer that you
Mhm.
like. Obviously, the basic pieces, no matter what, we want those because that's what everybody needs
Right.
in their kitchen.
Mhm.
This one comes with 10 of the steak knives, so you can get the 10 steak knives in the front of the block.
Okay.
And then it'll look like this as well.
Okay,
Okay.
and then can I buy 2 additional steak knives though?
Yeah, you can buy
So
two
I can make
additional.
my 12
Yep,
for,
yep.
and just keep those in the drawer?
Do you want me to show you the price with the 2 extra?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. So on the family set, the normal retail value of that set is gonna cost you this. Okay, so there's already a discount, right, from that one. That's because you're getting rid of all the big pieces of Cutco. The cleavers, the fillet knives, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then what we do is then your price here today at the house, with the extra 2 steak knives, mind you, comes out to that, which is only going to cost you this today.
Now that I could go for.
That you can go for.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, that I could go for.
Okay.
I mean, I
And-
can completely justify that. I just, even though I'd love to have everything,
This sounds good.
this sounds great. I really like this one.
Mm-hmm. And when you do
And-
buy this set, by the way,
Mhm.
we do give you a sharpener and cutting boards for free with it.
Oh, I do?
Yes. And then you'll get the bigger steak knives.
Uh-huh.
Now we'll send you the extra 2 steak knives. With the extra
Mhm.
2 steak knives, they will have sheaths on them, so you can stick them right into the drawer.
Like those.
Just like
Okay.
this. Okay, so you can just stick it in there, put it in a safe spot so you don't lose them. And then what we can do is then next year we could upgrade you to the full block so you can fit all your steak knives in it, and then you can get all those extra specialty pieces.
Okay.
Okay? So
Yeah, but
you wanna
then
do
I have
that?
to buy 2 blocks. Can I trade in the old
Actually,
block?
when you can trade in the block when that time comes. We have
Okay.
a program for the upgrade where you can send that back and then we can go from there.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
So, let me do this. We'll get you this set here. We'll get it all signed up for you. We got an order form here. And then what I want you to do is while I'm doing the order form here, okay, and I'm getting this written down, I want you to just flip through here. We have some gifts and accessories. We have some small sets, just so that if there's something that sparks your interest, you can ask me the price. We can look at adding it on as well if you need to. But let me get this. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask you, did you like the dark handles or did you like the white handles better?
I like the dark handles.
The dark
better.
handles?
Yeah, my neighbor has the white ones.
Yes, you don't want to have the same color as her because if she comes over and takes your knife, you'll know because the black one will be yours, right? And then, quick question, do you want cherry wood, like dark wood, or do you want oak? I would say cherry with your
Probably
kitchen.
cherry, yeah.
But it
'cause-
just depends.
Yeah, let's do cherry.
Okay,
I think
perfect.
it would, because I like I mean, I just have those stupid curtains up for right now. I'm in the process of
Remodeling.
remodeling and
Nice.
like my patio and
Well,
stuff.
the next time I come over, you'll have to show me all your new things.
Okay, okay,
Perfect. So we'll
Okay,
get this written
so-
down. You can start flipping through here.
okay.
We can skip this section because you've already seen that section. And then here's our flatware.
Is
just
this
so you
the
know.
same page as what you were showing me before?
Yep, that has all the individual pieces laid out on it. Yep.
It has different holy things.
Yeah, that's a cheese knife.
Yeah, that's
But then
that
there's some
one.
extra ones here. If you
Oh,
flip through
wow.
here, you'll see all of the little specialty ones and all the cool new little things as well.
Ooh, I really like this bird's beak.
The bird's beak? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my mom's favorite items. The thing that's nice about that one, you can take eyes out of your potatoes, tops off strawberries, coring, sectioning, and you do a lot of in the air
I would
things.
probably use a bird's beak actually more than I'd use a paring knife.
The bird's beak.
Yeah, the bird's beak.
Okay, now with your set, it automatically comes with the smaller paring knife. If you want the bird's beak, we would just add it on. And I can show you the small fee that they would charge you for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you, yeah, let me know about the,
Because you remember how I said you can never have enough paring knives in the kitchen?
right, and I would probably use the bird's beak just because it's
The
hooked.
curved, okay.
Yeah, I really like,
Did you do a lot of your own canning?
yes, I do. I do I do about 150 quarts of peaches and tomato sauce and applesauce a year.
Oh, wow.
I love to can.
So we should add that one on. That would be a great add-on for your set. Now remember, you'll have enough room that you can put it right in there, or it'll have that extra sheath on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, that would be really, really good.
Perfect.
Oh, you guys do silverware too.
We do. The flatware is amazing stuff. The flatware came out because of Oneida.
So the reason why I cut it off there is then now she's going to go through the blue book and she's going to go, oh my gosh, you have flatware and da 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 blah blah blah. Yeah, right? The main thing is I wanted to just show you guys how to close that. Okay? Now, did you guys see how when she wanted to add something on? Oh, well, I'll show you what that small fee would be to add it on to the set. Okay? It's a small fee. It's not a big fee, right? Oh, you won't even know it because you're already spending $1,600, right? What's another $60, right? Drop in the hat. Cool? So did you guys see what just happened there? Okay. One thing I'm gonna point out some things that were in that video, okay, that's gonna help you guys with this close. Did you notice that when she was hesitating and she wasn't responding after I showed her the price, I already knew that she wasn't feeling comfortable with what she was gonna buy or what was there. But I never ever say anything until they say something, okay? Silence is golden. Write that down. Silence is golden when you guys are doing your close, okay? When you're silent, the close is amazing, okay? Because that's allowing them to process what you're showing them and what you're doing right there, okay? The other thing that you notice too is that when she said no to that set, I said, well, let me show you the smaller set. And what did I do? I picked out the items that were on her list that she really wanted. I said, plus this set has that Petite Santuco that you really like, right? And she's all like, yes. Oh, and it has the cheese knife and it has the shears. And what did I do is I talked her out of buying the Ultimate because I said, plus the thing is that you get rid of all these big knives that you normally wouldn't use anyways, right? And then she's all like, okay, yes, I wouldn't use those. Most salespeople never sell a customer off of buying something because they want that customer to buy it, right? It's okay to say, it's all right, let's not get this one here because you won't use it right now, and you can upgrade. Did you notice I kept saying upgrade? You can always get extra, you can always get extra. Another thing that you saw in the video is that when you ask that customer, how many stick knives would you use? 8, 10, 12, or 24? If they pick a number and the set that they're looking at does not have that amount in it, they're always going to want what? The extras, right? And that's why you see her go, well, can I get the extra 2? Because I really want a complete set of 12, right? Yes, definitely. I'll show you the price with it, right? If she would have said no to that, I would have said, well, let's just take off the 2 extra steak knives, show you the discount on that, and we can go from there, right? Now, one thing that you guys notice in here, we're going to go over the paper close here in like quick, okay? What happens in there is that you guys are all like, well, you didn't do the trade-in value, and you talked about, well, this is what Cutco would normally charge you, right? So what I'm talking about, this is what Cutco normally charges you. If you know the ultimate set online says if you individually pieced out everything from Cutco, it's $3,010. You guys do know that, right? So when you're quoting the price, which we're going to go over the paper close, what we do is we go the normal price if you bought it from Cutco. We separate ourselves from Cutco, right? Because I'm not Cutco Cutlery. I am a business owner of Cutco Cutlery or a representative of Cutco, right? So what I do is I go, well, this is what Cutco would charge you. But since I'm here at your house, did you hear that? Since I'm here at your house and your friend recommended, did you see how I did that? Because now she's going to want to recommend what? Her friends too, right? Since your friend recommended me, I can give you a better deal, right? Now, obviously, if you gave that friend a discount on her set, make sure it's the same price so that they don't price compare, and then you gave this one a set for like $200 cheaper than this one, because people do talk. You do know that, right? So what you do is then you quote them the price of what? The trade-in value, right? Just immediately do the trade-in value, because guess what? It gives that extra oomph so that your discount is so high. Because did you see what she did when I first showed her the first price? She's like, oh, wow, right? And then I showed her the discount, and she's like, oh, that's a nice discount, right? Because if you can go from $3,010 down to $2,100, right? That's an $800 savings. The customer's going, oh, wow, this is a really good deal, right? And then it makes it more feasible, more, something excited. Now, one thing that we're going to teach you here is if you guys noticed when we did it, what I did with it is that when you do the normal price and then you do the, since you are a new customer, did you guys hear that when I said that? This is something that's key in your number 4 step, okay? Since you are a new customer, what we do is we allow you to split it up into 5 payments interest-free. And then what I do is I put a box around that 5 payments interest-free, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys really quick how the paper close works, okay? The reason why we do the paper close is because people learn 3 different ways. They learn from physical touch, they learn from reading it, and then they also read it from what? Writing it down, right? So some people learn by writing down everything, like all their notes. They'll remember that and they'll retain it. Some people have to read it in a book to make sure that it's legit, and then other people just have to feel it, touch it, and want it. Does it make sense? So what are we doing? We're doing all 3 of those, because the book is the reading part, handing her the knife is the feeling part, and then the paper closes so that she can actually visually see it and see how it comes out and how it works out. That's why we do the paper close, because we don't know what type of customer that is, right? So we have to make sure that we hit all 3 areas so that when we're closing the customer, we can close that customer correctly, okay? And I've never seen it where a customer, I show them the paper close and they go, oh, well, I don't get why you're doing it on the piece of paper. I've never seen that. Customers are like, oh, wow, oh, and this is what the payments are? Oh. And then what happens is then they forget about the big numbers because we break it down to the small number, right? And when you put a box around something, it singles out that one price, and that's the only price they focus on. Now, during the demo, did you guys notice how I said the trimmer's $349 normally in stores, right? We're not going to be a $399 set you're going to find at a bargain store. So the customer already knows that we're going to be expensive, right? So that when it comes down to the paper close, she's not shocked by what she's seeing. Okay? It's more of a, oh, I expected that, just like she did in the video, right? Then you do the discount, and she's like, oh, wait, let's see here. And then you could see her mind trying to come around, how am I going to split this up, right? And then we go from there, okay? So, paper close. The way this paper close works is you get the customer's list, okay? That's number 2, right? Ask permission to go over their list. Did you notice that when I went over the list, I went back over everything that she wrote on the page so she knew what she wrote down, right? And when that happened, she was like, okay, yeah, page 1 definitely. And you heard her in there, right? Definitely have to have the basic stuff, right? And then I'm like, oh, and then you have the Hardy slicer, the cheese knife, the 4-inch paring knife, the boning knife. Oh, and you put 12 steak knives, which indicates what? 12 steak knives. So I always put a star on their list next to the steak knives. Because when you put a star next to the steak knives, that becomes the what? The focal point. They have to have what comes on here. Okay? Because then they're all like, yeah, but that set only has 10 steak knives. I really want my 12. Right? And then you're all like, okay, well, if you really want your 12, then we're just going to have to sell you extra, or you're going to get the set that actually holds the 12 steak knives. Get where we're going here? I hope this is like, you guys are going, oh my gosh, like, if I would have known to do this a long time ago, this would have been amazing. Right? So, you see the customer list here, right? Paring knife, trimmer, spatula, chef knife, petite carver, cheese knife, Hardy slicer, Santoku, butcher knife, slicer, 4-inch paring, boning knife. But this right here is going to tell you what set you need to focus on, right? Now, if the customer said, I would only need 8 table knives or 8 steak knives, you know what set she's going to buy, right? She's going to buy at least the Homemaker. Because guess what? It comes with 8, which you told me you want 8, so this is the perfect set for you, right? Now, it's all right to give her more steak knives, because when you're selling it to her, let's say she said 8, you would go, well, Mrs. Jones, we always found out that 8 is not enough, but if 8 is the number that you want, we can definitely show you the set that comes with that. But what we found is our customers always want more steak knives than what they actually wrote down, okay? Now, when you have it all listed out like this, what you do is you do the normal price and then your price, right? And this is where it's fun, because now, guess whose list this is? That's her list, not mine, right? So if she's like, no, I really don't need Cutco, or what? Well, you told me that you wanted all of this. I never once told you to buy that. This is what you told me, so I'm going based off of what you told me you wanted. And the customer's like, I did tell him that that's what I wanted. I'm like, gotcha, Mrs. Jones. Right? And the paper close is perfect for this. And the reason why the paper close is for this is because you say it just like I told her. Well, what you put on your list and the knives that you want, did you notice I say what you did, not what I did, so you can't pin this on me. Okay? Because all I'm doing is showing you Cutco. You're selling yourself the Cutco. I didn't do that. Right? So what we do is we do this. I don't know how to do this, but we put an N right here. We go, Mrs. Jones, this is the normal price. Why do we do an N? Because normal, N, get it, got it, okay? And then what we do is we put normal price. Then what happens is that you put, right, because we're going to show her the ultimate. What did I say? You're a perfect candidate for what? The ultimate, okay? Then what we do is after we do the normal price, okay? Sorry, I don't know if everybody can. Did I pull it too far forward? Can you guys see it? Can you guys still see it over there? Move the boat. I'll just do this. Josh, you take care of it. Oh, okay. Josh, do what you do best. Move it. No, I'm joking. Yay, Josh Mueller! Huh? Yes, I can. So that's the normal price, right? And then what we do is then we go, your price, your, why, you get it, your price. And then what we do is then we give them their discount price, which is usually the trade-in value. I know that this has steak knives here. We're just going to do table knives because it's an easier number that everybody knows, 2164. You all know that, right? If you don't, oh. Right? So then you go, this is the normal price that Cutco would usually charge. Now you show her that price first. And then what you do is what I did in the close, and I go, Now what I want to do is show you your price because your friend recommended me, so I can give you a bigger discount while I'm here at the house today. Then you write down, but your price is this, right? And then that customer is going, wow, that's awesome. Now, I know a lot of people that they change it up when they go, well, you're saving $800. You can do that, but I really don't care about the savings, okay? What do I care about? That she's buying the knife set, right? Okay, she knows that she's getting a savings. From here to here, she should understand that she's saving $800, okay? Now, what I want someone to do is split this up into 5 payments. I do believe it comes out to $426, if I'm good. Someone have a calculator? 432, I'm sorry, okay? So then what you do is you write here, 5 pay, and then you put interest free, so I just put interest and then free, right? And then what I do is I take that, what did you say, 430 something? Now, this is a lot going on, right? But what's the one thing that your eye focuses on? Boom, boom, right? Well, what it does is then that's when you do the paper close and you're all like, well, Mrs. Jones, since you're a new customer, by the way, this works great with past customers too. Mrs. Jones, since you're a past customer, what we allow you to do is split that up into 5 payments interest-free, right? There's no interest, no credit check, no background check, nothing like that because we have a loyalty to who? You, the customer, okay? But if they're new, that's when you go, now just so you know, since you are a new customer to Cutco, what we do is we allow you. Now I'm part of Cutco. See what happened? First, well, that's what Cutco would charge you. But this is what your price is because I'm here. But what we do as an organization, because now it's like we're together, you can do this, Mrs. Jones, right? And what does she do? She goes, okay, wow, I didn't think about that. It's only that much, just like what she did in the video. Yeah, it's that much. So how much is it per, like how often are the payments? Right? That's when you start getting the buying, okay? When they're all like, oh, really? Whoa, well, how many payments? That right there is telling you that she is intrigued and that she is interested in buying. Now, if you want to, I could have easily pushed her a little bit more and said, well, why don't you just get it? Now, did you hear me when she said no? I was like, now you do know you don't have to pay for it all at once. You can split it up into the 5 payments. But if you would like, I could show you a smaller option. It stopped her in her tracks, and she thought about it for a second, and then she's like, no, I just can't do that. Let's look at a smaller option, right? So then what you do is then down below this, what do? I hope you guys wrote all that down, right? Then what we do is we do the family. Plus 10, right? And then what we do is we go, now this has 10, it doesn't have the 12 that you want, but at least it's close to what you want, right? So what am I doing? I'm reselling on the bigger set because I'm like, well, this one doesn't have what you exactly want, but I mean, it's close to what you want. And then what does that mean? Okay, I better take this option. That's what it's doing. It's telling her, okay, it's either this set or the other set. Right? Because I don't want to get too far away. Now, if it's a price thing, it's easy. You can go down in price and you guys can find out what they want, right? So then what you do is the normal price on it, right? Okay? And if you individually piece it out, it comes out to like 1980 something, 84. Okay? I know this is a guesstimate. I'm just doing this so that you guys can see how it is. But your price here at the house today is $1,519. Okay, which is the trade-in value. And if we split that up into the 5 payments, so you do the 5 pay one more time, okay, you don't have to write interest-free. Then what you do is you put that little box there, and then what you do is you put 305. Now, Mrs. Jones, since you're a new customer, instead of spending $432 today, what you could do is get the set that's just a little bit less than that, which has everything that you want and it has everything that's on your list. And the thing that's great about it is that you actually save $130 today by buying the smaller option. And what happens? The reaction of what? Oh, well, I can do that. No brainer, right? So what do? Boom. Right when they go, oh, well, I can do that, that's a trigger. You immediately go, okay, great, perfect. Did you hear me? I was like, perfect. Well, let me grab an order form and let me get that written up for you. No ands, ifs, or buts. If she says anything that says, I want it, I'm going to buy it, you pull out that order form and boom, Mrs. Jones, here we go. Right? Write it down, start filling it out. Oh, flip through the rest of the catalog while I fill this out. What ends up happening? She's in a buying mood. So what do? We add things on, right? And then what ends up happening is that if she starts adding things on, you're like, well, you know what? Maybe what you should do is do the complete set. I know that's a little bit more than what you want to spend, but what I'll do is I'll give you this for free and this for free and this for free if you do it. And the customer's like, oh, well, let's just go to the bigger set and let's just do it. Let's get it over with. See how that works? This right here is money, okay? Now, what I would tell you to do, bring your own notepad. Bring your own paper. Do not rely on the customer to have the paper and pen there, okay? If you bring the pen, it's a natural thing. Mrs. Jones, and I label the front of the book, okay? It says demo wish list, right? And when it's sitting there, the customer's looking at it, and then when you give it to her, she just thinks this is a normal, natural thing that happens on the demo, right? By the way, when you go in to close or you go in to buy something, nobody ever does that where they write it down for you and show you the price. Even when you buy a car, it's on a computer. Have you ever noticed that? Oh, well, let me go back to the other screen. It's like, wait, the price just changed. No, it didn't. It's the same thing. It's like, write it down, let me see it. If a customer sees it like this, they agree to it, boom, write it up. Awesome? So, what we're going to do is we're going to role play this, okay? Does this make sense? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to role play this. So first, the partner that you're going to be with, they're going to write down what they want really quick, okay? Then what you're going to do is ask permission to see it, go over what they have on the list. After you do that, you're going to explain the set that would what? They would be a best candidate for, okay? Amazing to say that. You'd be a great candidate for this set based off of what you wrote down, right? And then what we do is we go over pricing like this with the paper close, answer any questions. Most of the time you don't have to answer any questions because the question's already answered as it goes, right? Now, reassurance, okay? When I say reassurance, that's after you quote the price. You will reassure them on why they're buying that. Now remember, you're only spending $305 today, which you know you're going to spend that on random things every month, but this is something you're going to literally have 30, 40, 50 years from now. By the way, it's American made, which we can't thank you enough for buying and supporting our country. But the other thing that's great about Cutco is that you literally will never ever buy another set of knives ever again, okay? And I will become your personal representative and I will take care of you from here on out. So, did you like the dark handles or did you like the white handles better? Done. Drop the mic. Right? Cool? Thank you guys so much. I hope that it helped you guys a lot. And let's go close some deals.